And this one came out from 670 The Score, David Hall, in which he talked about that there are some talks about changes at the highest level. And this is different from the Billy Donovan thing, saying this. I do know this is this in talking to people who would be in a position to know. The offseason ahead is going to be a critical one, and it's significant for the Bulls. Changes are being considered, and changes are being considered at the highest level. Unless you're Michael or Jerry Reinsdorf, I'm not sure you're in a position to know what comes next. Now, what does this mean, right? If we're hearing that Michael and Jerry Reinsdorf are the only people that could know how many changes are coming, does that mean that they've finally waken up to the situation that this team is in, or have they naturally been triggered by the fact of, okay, wait, we just traded Zach LaVine last season. We're trading, we traded a lot of players that have been here before, and you're talking about Billy Donovan could potentially be out. All right, let's go do an audit. It's basically because Michael Reinsdorf and Jerry Reinsdorf run the team very much like, I made this comparison in the Discord, right? They run the team like how when you think of chain restaurants, how they're franchisees in chain restaurants. So basically the way that the Reinsdorfs run the Chicago Bulls is that, hey, as long as each franchise, in this case, the Bulls, the Sox, and the residential businesses, as long as they're making money, good, we're good, right? We kind of stay hands off as long as they're not making money. But in the same sense that when you have a franchisee that is excelling and doing, you may give them a little bit more money on their books, right? Or if you have one that is like, hey, we lost, the turnover at this franchise is getting crazy. Let's go see what's happening on with this franchisee. That's basically what could be happening here, is that as the businessmen, they're coming in and saying, all right, let's look at what's been going on here. We've got to be hands off. Let's go do an audit. And that audit could lead them to saying, hey, we need a new eye here. Now, maybe they still want to work with AK because, again, one thing that we've seen from this ownership group is that if you're the president of basketball ops, you usually get a decade plus at the job. AK's 6 years in, right? So they could sit down with AK and say, hey, listen, what's going on here? And AK could say, listen, I know we changed the roster. We're going to reset. Billy Donovan's leaving. We're also going to get a new GM. And then they can say, okay, cool. All right, cool. So we're going to make some changes. All right, but the pressure's on. We're watching closely now what happens over the next 2 or 3 years since you're going into a rebuild. Or they can come in and say, listen, this shit ain't working. Let's tear this shit all the way down. Let's rip it all the way out. We got it. We're resetting the roster anyway. This is a perfect time to bring in a new set of eyes to talk about how we need to build out this thing going forward. I'm not trying to hold out any hope. I don't have very much hope for the Reinsdorfs, Jerry and Michael to actually do something, but it does seem like there is something right now that there could be a status quo change here for the Chicago Bulls this upcoming year. Now, while David Hall did not provide the specifics in down to it, he is kind of implying that a reset of the table could be possible, right? So if there is a front office shakeup, what does that mean for the Chicago Bulls?